which is diagnosis and treatment planning of complex cases. Actually, dito ako pumwesto kasi ang hirap nakaupo dun sa okay? So, interdisciplinary philosophy is an interdisciplinary method of patient therapy, is the effective and efficient utilization of the expertise and skills in the various disciplines of dentistry. Okay, so in one complex case, you will be utilizing different types or different specialization of dentists. Okay, majority or madalas ano bang specialization ang nagko-collaborate. Usually we have your ortho, your perio, okay, your oral surgeon, and your prosthodontist. Kapag ang patient may TMJ problem, doon pumapasok ang mga TMJ experts. Okay? So another, it's a key is the combination of diagnostic, treatment planning, and therapeutic procedure with extensive communication among the team member. So more or less, we have a team collaboration, structured work of different specialties, and this is composed of the different members of our interdisciplinary team. So by providing solutions to a variety of problems, an interdisciplinary treatment simplifies and idealizes the treatment plan that improves the overall treatment prognosis and enhances the treatment result. So the advantage of your interdisciplinary approach is that diba? One head is better than, two heads are better than one. Okay? So basically, mas maraming utak na nag-iisip ng magandang treatment planning, mas maganda yung magiging outcome or result ng ating treatment to our patient. Okay? So the different treatment protocol in an interdisciplinary, so we need to first get the case history of your patient. Ano ba yung chief complaint ng pasyente natin? Ano ba yung mga history ng pasyente natin? Okay? Yung HPI niya. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, may sarili na kayong linya ng HPI. Diba? Whenever he drinks hot and cold beverages. Okay? Diba? Yun naman ang typical na nababasa sa mga OD form ninyo. The patient, the patient complains of tooth sensitivity, on tooth number ganito, whenever he drinks hot and cold beverages. Okay. Next is your clinical examination. Okay. You need to do your intraoral, your extraoral examination of the patient. Okay. Your surrounding structures, i-check natin lahat yan. And then you will do your full mouth radiographic survey. So particularly, mas okay sana kung panoramic radiograph. Kasi number one, isang exposure lang, nakikita na natin lahat. As compared with your periapical x-ray, since we are doing an interdisciplinary approach, mas better na panoramic radiograph na yung ginagamit natin para nakikita na natin lahat. More or less, may overview tayo kung ano yung problem ng pasyente. Diba? Kapag kasi periapical x-ray, you will do it by quadrant. Diba? Ang dami ng exposure ng pasyente, but the advantage of your periapical x-ray, mas detailed lang siya as compared with your panoramic radiograph. And of course, we need our study models, okay, your study cast. Okay, kasi basically, di ba, hindi naman natin nakikita sa oral cavity yung proper occlusion ng pasyente kasi meron chick dyan, di ba? So with your use of your study models or your study cast, okay, mas mabivisualize natin more or less yung kanyang occlusion at mas makikita natin na mas detailed yung mga ngipin ng ating pasyente. And of course, you will do your extraoral photographs. Okay? In ortho, di ba, in your pediatric patients, in your perio, di ba, lahat siya may extraoral photographs. Particularly, di ba, check natin minsan kung di ba, cosmetic yung gusto mong gawin, yung smile ng pasyente, di ba? Yung smile arch. Para if ever kung gusto mong gumawa ng smile design, mas madali with your extraoral photos. And of course, you have your intraoral photographs. The importance of your intraoral photographs, okay, pwede natin siyang magamit pre-op and post-op. Okay? Pwede natin ma-discuss or makita ng pasyente yung naging result after or post-operative. makikita niya, ito yung difference ng kanyang ngipin before and after. Okay? Particularly in ortho. Diba? Tuwan-tuwa yung mga pasyente natin kapag nakita nila yung improvements nila, lalo-lalo na kung suki-suki talaga yung ngipin nila pre-operatively. Pero after a few months, di ba, nag-take ka uli ng intraoral photographs and then pinakita mo sa pasyente yung difference between the pre and the post. Di ba? At least, natutuwa yung pasyente and for record taking na rin natin to. Okay? Next, we have your evaluation by individual specialist involved. And then we have your preliminary problem list. So ito yung more or less yung preliminary na problema or yung mga makikita mong problem within the oral cavity of your patient. So basically, dito parang sa preliminary problem list, dito mag-start yung interdisciplinary collaboration natin sa different specialists. Okay? Kasi after natin makuha more or less yung mga laboratory result, okay, makikita natin yung case history ng pasyente, okay? And then may evaluate na tayo, mag-evaluation ka na based dun sa iyong mga preliminary diagnostics. Ngayon, mag-start na yung discussion ninyo, okay, ng case ng pasyente with your other co-professionals, okay, or co-dentist or specialist. So to come up with a diagnosis, okay, and then you will now do your treatment planning. Okay? So in treatment planning, very important also is the treatment sequencing. Sino ba mauuna? Ano ba ang mas mauuna? Yung bang elective area or yung area of concerns, di ba? Kung ano yung mga chief complaint ng pasyente. Okay? So dito natin makikita, okay, yung proper treatment sequencing. So basically, number one naman lagi, nauuna naman lagi si perio. Okay? Kasi dapat tanggalin muna natin more or less yung mga infections in the gingival area that can cause further problem kapag hinuli natin siya. Okay? And then after doing your treatment sequencing, you will now do the execution of your treatment plan. Okay? Dito na mag-i-start yung mismong treatment natin dun sa ating pasyente. And of course, you have your treatment progress assessment, which is very important na ina-assess natin yung progress ng ginagawa nating treatment dun sa ating pasyente. Baka naman scale ka ng scale, di ba? Hindi naman nag-progress o hindi naman naaayos yung gingiva ng pasyente. Kasi hindi natin nabibigyan ng proper oral hygiene yung pasyente natin. Kaya nga in perio, di ba? Ano bang ginagawa natin? Nagpapamumog tayo, di ba? Yung PCR, okay? Yung ginagawa natin sa pasyente, okay? Yung plaque control record, sina-check natin. And then after nun, di ba, bago natin i-release yung pasyente, pinasusupragingival scaling muna. Tinatanggal natin yung mga soft plaque. And then, after nun, i-educate natin yung pasyente of the proper oral hygiene. Kailangan i-explain natin sa pasyente yung tamang toothbrushing, flossing, di ba? Gano'n makatagal ang pagtutoothbrush. And then, after nun, di ba, i-recall natin yung pasyente, i-check natin, i-PCR natin ulit. Yung bang 89% na initial PCR mo, bumaba ng 10%. Di ba? Hindi ko alam yung bagong period ninyo, pero ako, I'm talking about the previous period namin na ginagawa, which is, halimbawa, 89% yung initial PCR, pagbalik ng pasyente after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, dapat more or less 10% na lang yung plaque ng pasyente. Kasi nga, nare-iterate mo sa kanya yung proper oral hygiene. Diba? Dapat sinunod ng pasyente. Pero pag yan, hindi bumaba, drastically, hindi bumaba, ibig sabihin, hindi ginagawa ng pasyente yung mga plaque control measures na itinuturo natin sa kanila. So, ano mangyayari nun? Diba? Magsusupra ka na naman, and then reiterate again, another 1 week na naman. Okay? Dapat 5% na pagbalik ng pasyente. Dapat bumaba ka ng 5% bago siya makapag-start ng subgingival scaling, quadrant 1. Ganun yung previous, ewan ko yung bago, kasi di man ako matend sa seminar dahil alam ko, wala na akong clinic. Clinic yan, hindi na akong matend. Diba? So, next is your continued maintenance. So, after, di ba, kailangan may recall tayo na ginagawa doon sa pasyente. Hindi ko alam ngayon kung ginagawa pa yung recall, but before, after installation of denture, after 3 days, after 1 week, nire-recall pa namin yung pasyente. Tinitingnan kung kamusta yung denture na in-install sa pasyente, kung nagkaroon ba ng mga sugat or nagkaroon ng mga singaw. Okay, so dapat, very important yung continuous yung maintenance ng ating pasyente. So the diagnostic process, so the goal of the diagnostic process in an interdisciplinary treatment is to produce a comprehensive but concise list of patient problems and to synthesize the various treatment options into a plan that gives maximum benefit to your patient. So always remember that interdisciplinary patient management is patient-centered practice. So we need to establish proper diagnosis and to formulate a treatment plan to prevent any complication and confusion in our final treatment. Okay? So during the process of diagnosis, while we are doing or assessing our complex dentofacial problem, the dentist should not only focus on the specialized areas, but we have to center on the patient's need. Kaya nga nakalagay na we need to do diagnostic process and kailangan mo munang i-synthesize yung various treatment options natin sa ating pasyente. Okay? So in general, practitioner dapat, di ba, as a general practitioner and as a future general dentist, we have our own specialization, but dapat alam din natin yung ibang specialization, more or less meron tayong idea with the other specialization. Para more or less meron tayong idea, di ba? Bago natin i-collaborate with the other specialist, kailangan meron na rin tayong general idea no case ng pasyente at ano ang magiging treatment plan para karoon tayo ng overview or may discuss natin yung overview sa ating mga pasyente. So, in diagnosis and treatment planning, the dentist should, number 1, recognize the various elements and characteristics of dentofacial deformity, have comprehensive knowledge of different disciplines of dentistry to generate pertinent data. Okay? Ang problem kasi minsan, nag-specialize lang tayo on a certain discipline. Okay? Kaya, ang nangyayari, kung prosto lang ang ginagawa mo. So, in a group practice, dapat more or less, in an interdisciplinary dentistry, sabi ko nga kanina, more or less, meron na tayong idea or alam din natin yung ginagawa ng ating mga kapwa-dentista. Para during the discussion process, di ba, meron ka rin magiging input. And then, we have to define the nature of the problem. So, dapat yung unang priority, okay, yun muna yung gawin natin, and then to be followed by the different needs of our patient. Okay? Although minsan yung pasyente, ang chief complaint niya, gusto niya magpa-whitening or magpa-veneer, pero upon oral examination, nakita mo, ang dami pang bunutin, di ba? Ang daming namamagan sa area. So, basically, doon pumapasok yung proper explanation to the patient kung ano ba yung magiging unang gagawin. Okay? So, dapat lagi natin unahin yung immediate na dapat gawin. Okay? Kaya lang, minsan, sad reality, minsan ang dentista, sumusuko na siya kung ano yung gusto ng pasyente nung nasusunod. Okay? Kaya nga, di ba, sinasabi ko sa inyo, majority of the failure in full mouth FPD, di ba, is yung minsan, yung antes law na babiolate na natin. Kasi minsan, di ba, 16 yung ngipin or 14 yung ngipin sa taas, sa umahawak lang isang molar sa dulo, tapos K9 sa harap. Di ba? Yun ang may bitbit sa apat. Doon sa 14 ng ngipin, 4 na bumibitbit sa 10. Okay? Kasi minsan ang pasyente mapilit, di ba? Alahan yun. Let's accept the reality, let's face the reality in private practice. Ganun talaga. Minsan ang pasyente ang nasusunod. Okay, Dok, hindi, sige. Hindi ko mag-fail ko. Hindi, okay lang yan, Dok. Hindi ko nag-fail. Hindi gawa tayo ng complete denture. Ganun pa sila. Diba? Pero minsan, syempre, diba? Kasi ang rin yun, kapag ano, diba? As dentist. Diba? Kaya ngayon ang nagiging problem with the private practice. Okay? Ang hirap minsan salarin ang kagustuhan ng mga pasyente. Minsan parang imposible, gusto nilang mag-imposible. Diba? Minsan second degree mobility na. Diba? Meron nga akong in-OP 2 days ago. In-explain ko talaga sa kanya. Hindi ko natatanggalin itong calcular deposit ng 4 ng central incisor mo sa lower. Ha? Sabi ko. Kasi second degree na yung ngipin, baka pag tinanggal mo yung calcular deposit, magtanggalan din yung ngipin. Yan na lang ako mahawak dyan sa mga ngipin mo. Diba? Kasi kahit anong explain ko sa kanya na pa-extract na niya, syempre ayaw pa naman niya pa-extract. Pero second degree, yung iba third degree mobility na. Okay? Na naging split na. Or yung naging stent na doon yung kanyang calcular deposit. Next is to design a treatment strategy based on the specific needs and desire of your patient. Wala ng aircon. Okay? Sumoy pa ko susunod. Ano lang? Small, wow. Diba? Pasay, wala nang pasok. Kaya wala nang pasok sa NU. Diba? Sabi ng mga estudyante ko ngayon sa 4th year. Sabi nila, sir, wala na pong pasok ang NU. At talaga, teka-text yung sa Dr. Marisa. Nalawin ako. Nasa na doon ako ba sa mga? Hindi ko sa Dr. Marisa, tanongin natin ba ang klase ng klase. Doon ako yung mga estudyante. Mga ganyan si Dr. Next semester na doon. Joke lang. Okay, so the basic way of establishing diagnosis is the development of a comprehensive but concise database of useful information that can be derived from your patient history, your clinical examination, and of course, the analysis of your diagnostics. Okay? So when you are dealing with diagnostic process, kailangan you would center on these 3 elements. Okay? The case history of the patient, the clinical examination you will do, or your full mouth examination, and then you will do charting, and of course, you have to do the analysis of your diagnostic records. Okay? So ano pa ba yung mga diagnostic records natin? These are your study models, your radiograph, your x-rays, and your intra and extra-oral radiograph. So, these elements, doon tayo magkakaroon ngayon ng comprehensive patient database. For this is needed in the analysis and evaluation of all the key members of the interdisciplinary dentistry. So after, there will be an organization and evaluation ng different individual of the specialists. So doon kayo mag-undergo ng meeting to discuss what will be your treatment planning. Okay? Ipa-prioritize natin or pa-prioritize yung needs ng pasyente. Okay? So kukunin natin yung needs ng pasyente based on his or her chief complaints. Bakit ba siya pumunta sa clinic mo? Okay? And then, sabi ko nga kanina, uunahin natin more or less kung ano yung nakikita nating immediate concern ng pasyente. Okay? And then, napakarami kasi chief complaint kung tutuusin ng pasyente kung lalo-lalo na kapag complex yung case. Okay? Sumasakit po ang ngipin ko, dumudugo po ang gilagid ko. Diba? Yun ang mga madalas chief complaints ng ating mga pasyente. Okay? Sad reality in the Philippines, diba? Pumupunta lang naman ng pasyente sa mga dentista kapag nararamdaman na sila. Hindi naman yun nagpapakita sa atin, diba? Kukunti, siguro sabihin na natin 30% of the population, yan lang yung mga pumupunta ng mga routine radiograph or routine OP every 6 months. Diba? Pero majority of the patient or 70% of the patients may nararamdaman yan bakit siya pupunta sa dentista. Okay? Kasalanan yan ng ating mga magulang, ng lolo at lola natin, ng kabataan natin, na ginawa panakot ang mga dentista. Diba? Ano ba sinasabi ng mga lolo at lola natin? Kapag hindi ka tumigil dyan, dagaling kita sa dentista. Diba? Ginawa nilang pang-torture ang mga dentista. Kaya until we age, diba? Until we got adult, yung pa rin na naka-instill sa utak natin ng mga dentista ay nag-torture. Diba? So ngayon, naiintindihan nyo na hindi, di ba? Bilang mga future practitioners, naiintindihan ninyo na dapat hindi natin ginagawang pang-torture ng ating mga dentista. Kaibigan natin ang mga dentista. Okay? So, analysis of data. So, when we are going to analyze the data of your patient, okay, so we need to gather both the subjective and the objective information of your patient. Okay? So, in subjective information, we are talking about the patient needs and complaints. Okay? So, this is based on patient's opinion, desire or expectation, rather on the facts or evidence. Kasi ito nagbabase lang minsan kung ano yung sasabihin ng pasyente. This is, sabi nga nila, very subjective. Okay? Unlike with your objective, okay, this one is based on facts and it's free of bias or personal opinion. Kasi this objective information are coming from your clinical evaluation and this one is coming from the dentist or the doctor itself. Okay? So, binibase ng dentist, ng doctor, sa kanyang dental history, sa radiographs, and other diagnostics of your patients. Taliit siya. Okay. Number 2 is the critical evaluation of gathered information. Is essential to determine if there's a realistic treatment outcome. Okay? Kaya kung analysis of data is an essential part of the whole process of the comp for a patient, kasi minsan yung subjective info ni patient ay hindi reliable. Di ba? Minsan, ang sakit-sakit ang ngipin ko, Dok, ganyan, di ba? Minsan, ganun yan. Pero upon checking, upon doing sa patient, pinarkas mo, wala namang nararamdaman. Or pareho yung nararamdaman niya doon sa control mo at saka doon sa experimental na tinap mo. Okay? So minsan, nagiging unrealistic yung mismong information coming from the patient. Baka naman kasi referred pain lang yun, di ba? Na nararamdaman niya or nag-e-exage lang siya or pwedeng psychological lang yung nararamdaman ng pasyente. Okay? Kaya nga during extraction, di ba? Baga nire-reverse psycho natin yung pasyente, di ba? Bago natin ilagay yung forceps, di ba? Pinapasa ko pa lang sa bibig pero hindi mo pa iniipit yung ngipin. May nararamdaman po ba kayong masakit? Pag sinabi ng pasyente, gano'n, di ba? Ibig sabihin, wala ka pang ginagawa, may nararamdaman na. That's a psychological type of pain. Doon pa lang, medyo, wala pa nga akong ginagawa sa iyo, eh, di ba? Gano'n ang sasabihin sa pasyente, maaaray ka na. Okay? So, yun yung mga psychological type of pain. And then number 3, at times, immediate dental treatment may not be possible if a patient exhibits signs of body dysmorphic or somatoform disorder. So, referral muna to proper medical or psychiatric specialist may be in order before our treatment begins. Kaya we have to identify the problem first. We have to get the objective info. Kasi hindi pwede na sinabi lang na masakit yung ngipin niya. I-burr mo na agad yung ngipin. Diba? Tapos pagka-burr mo, wala naman palang karis. Diba? So sayang yung ngipin, sayang din yung pagod mo. At pwede kang i-demanda ng pasyente kasi wala namang karis, blur mo yung ngipin niya. Okay? And expose mo yung ngipin niya. Okay? So this is the problem list. So in extensive classifying, pwede mo siyang ortho muna. Ano ba yung mga problema sa ortho? Okay? Ano yung mga perio problem niya? Ano yung mga resto? Ano ba yung pwedeng i-endo? And of course, your aesthetic problem list. Okay? So, next is your definition of treatment goals. Okay? Since the problem list of the complex dentofacial abnormalities is multifaceted and involves multiple disciplines of dentistry, it is extremely important to address the patient's main concern. Always remember, when you are defining the treatment goals or doing the treatment planning, ang unang goals is to treat the patient main concern, yung chief complaint niya, whether the patient is seeking treatment or functional or aesthetic improvement or both, while formulating your treatment plan. But make sure when you are doing this, hindi mo kino-compromise yung iba pa niyang problem that needs emergency concern. Kasi pwedeng sabihin niya, gusto ko lang umayos at magpa-whitening. Pero may nakikita kang ibang mga emergency, so you need to discuss this into your patient. And of course, the treatment planning process is an interdisciplinary therapy, involves finding a solution to each individual problem that leads to the formulation of a definitive treatment plan. So all specialists involved in the formulation of treatment plan for the patient should provide possible solution to individual problems based on their own areas of expertise. And no problem should be treated as less important. Always remember, pantay-pantay ang mga treatment dito. Pantay-pantay yung member ng interdisciplinary dentistry. So the key here is to follow a logical sequence to develop an interdisciplinary problem list which can be synthesized to establish a final treatment plan. So if you remember, you will create a problem list and then you can categorize the problem list based on the different discipline and then calculating na dapat nasa utak na rin natin kung ano yung sequence na magiging treatment plan natin. Okay? Para hindi ma-compromise si patient and of course the dentist na gumagawa. Okay? Next is a well-structured and organized list of problems. Make sure that all areas have been evaluated in the diagnostic phase and also serve as a valuable reference tool during the course of treatment. So it's very important that you create a problem list para walang malilimutan, and when you are creating that problem list, dapat you are meeting with all the team members of the interdisciplinary dentistry. Okay? Para all specialists, walang malileft behind, kasi we have that a problem, kung magagawa mo siya ng problem list and create a treatment sequence, mas better na kompleto kayo na gumagawa ng kanyang treatment list. Okay? Kasi mahirap na may absent na isa, tapos gumawa kayo ng treatment list, tapos na, di ba, wala siya, hindi siya nakapagbigay ng input doon sa treatment plan na gusto ninyo, medyo magkakaroon kayo ng di pagkakaunawahan or conflict, di ba? Kaya di ba, doon sa 5 elements kanina, di ba, ng quiz natin, communication is very important. Okay? Next, we go now with your treatment sequencing. So, all specialists involved providing services should meet and discuss the definitive treatment plan before it is implemented. Okay? So, during the meeting, it is essential that the team members understand their responsibilities and are fully aware of the plan sequence. Okay? So this helps to make sure that the purpose or proposed plan is proceeding properly, and any team specialist can review the sequence at any stage of treatment, and the patient is aware of the direction and the stage of treatment completion. So this treatment, okay, or this treatment planning process almost always follow the same event. However, the sequence of treatment varies significantly from patient to patient based on treatment priority. And the main goal is to organize the sequence of various treatment procedure into a logical order so that each intervention performed by one of the specialists from the interdisciplinary team facilitates the next in order. Okay? So treatment sequencing should focus on the patient need and on the specialist schedule. Okay? Tandaan natin yon. Dapat nakafocus dun sa patient's need, not on the specialist schedule. It should be arranged in a way that you will prioritize the emergency or those that need first or high priority cases. Like if merong mga lesions or pathological condition, needs ng mga extractions, so uunahin natin yon. Okay? And not just because magsuswak lang sa schedule ni specialist, gagawin na. Okay, so nasisira yung treatment sequencing. Kapag bigla na lang dumating, available ako, sige, gawin ko na to. Okay, so nasisira yung treatment sequencing natin. Okay, so dapat during the meeting pa lang, ini-explain nyo na ng maayos ito at napag-uusapan nyo na ng maayos para hindi nagugulo at nasisira yung treatment sequence natin. Okay? So final treatment plan, and this specialist define responsibilities of each of the specialists, effective internal communication, and then for treatment sequencing, and of course the treatment execution. So during the final treatment planning process, there should be a meeting involving all the specialists and discuss the responsibilities of each specialist para hindi magkaroon ng internal conflict or internal communication conflict. Okay? Para ma-establish din natin yung treatment sequencing na based on the patient need and not just based on the schedule of the specialist. Okay? So this is an example of a sequencing dental treatment plan. Okay? Ideal lang ito. Okay? So special positioning of the patient. If the patient has asthma, so i-check natin yon kung anong oras ba pwedeng gawan yung pasyente. Okay? So titingnan natin yung medical condition of the patient. Okay? Kung anong oras mo pwedeng i-schedule yung pasyente. Particularly kapag yung patient may heart problem, okay, mas maganda kung morning appointment. Okay? So, i-check din natin yung pasyente kung yung chair position natin, kailangan ba naka-upright yung pasyente, or kapag may heart problem, di ba, may special positioning tayo ng dental chair. Okay? And then, you will do caries removal to check for the restorability of the questionable tooth. Okay, yun yung mga ginagawa natin minsan. Makita natin based on radiogram, oo, nakikita natin malaki na yung caries niya. And then upon caries removal, di ba, ang laki pala ng extent. Okay, so dito pumapasok para ma-explain natin ng properly sa pasyente yung kanyang mga problems. And of course, the treatment plan na pwede natin gawin sa kanya. Okay? So kapag yung mga ngipin, hopeless na, we do extraction. Okay? And then, pag nag-extract ka, di ba, yung iba, nilalagyan nila ng temporary denture, okay, para at least ma-maintain yung space. Okay? And then, scaling and root planing in subgingival. And then, you do oral prophylaxis sa mga supragingival area, caries risk assessment, and then you will check the lifestyle of the patient, kung smoker ba siya. Okay? Kasi kapag smoker ang pasyente, di ba? Daming plaque at daming stains. And of course, kapag mahilig ba yung pasyente sa mga matatamis at maasin na pagkain, okay? Kasi kapag medyo maasin, mataas yung acid content na pwede magkaroon ng erosion ng mga ngipin. And of course, you will check kapag merong advanced periodontal diseases, na kung kailangan gawan ng quadrant scaling and root planing. Okay? And then you will correct first yung mga period niya prior to doing your denture. Kaya nga usually, ang prosto will be the last part of the sequence of or sequencing in treatment planning. Okay? So after installation of your prosto, doon papasok yung maintenance or your periodic visit of the patient. Next is the case presentation. So, this is the most crucial element of the interdisciplinary therapy, as the outcome of this meeting determines whether the patient is willing to accept the proposed treatment plan or not. Okay, so the purpose of case presentation is the opportunity to discharge or to tell the patient everything of his case. So duty of disclosure of the dentist, so this definitely will help establish the patient trust and confidence in the treatment provider and enhance the patient perceived value of dental treatment. So dito papasok na kailangan ilatag natin lahat sa pasyente yung mga possible treatment options na pwede niyang ma-receive. Okay? Hindi pwedeng naka-close ka lang into one treatment option. Okay? Dapat binibigyan mo ng choice yung pasyente. Baka yung pasyente gusto pa niyang ipa-endo, pero ikaw pinipilit mong i-exo. Okay? But the patient opt to save his or her tooth, and may budget naman, why not do endodontics prior, or rather than doing your extraction? Okay? So this meeting is aimed at making patient fully aware of his or her existing problem and possible solution by presenting the detailed diagnostic findings, the alternative treatment plan with potential risks and benefits, and the cost it involves. Okay? This should be done thoroughly by using actual diagnostic records and visual aids and presentation of similar cases with the pre-treatment and post-treatment photograph. So pwede ka dito discuss sa pasyente ng mga nagawa mo ng mga cases para makita niya mayroon siyang maipag-compare. Okay? So, dito sa case presentation, lahat i-discuss mo na starting from his or her medical history na nag-gather mo during subjective and objective info, and also all the diagnostic records until you come up with a diagnosis and treatment plan and treatment sequence. So ideally, a multi-specialist consultation where everyone should be there because it will again gain the trust of your patient. Mas maganda na lahat kayo na member ng interdisciplinary team will be present during this case presentation in order for you to discuss individually your treatment plan. Hindi pwedeng isa lang. Okay? So, dapat it involves services of multiple specialists to the patient para ma-understand niya that the financial matter which should be handled by the team leader, that this is a group and interdisciplinary approach, kaya more or less medyo malaki yung babayaran ng pasyente as compared of doing it individually or doing it solely by a general dentist. So kapag interdisciplinary approach, okay, expected mo na medyo magastos or malaki yung gastos. Okay? So, after the patient has accepted the proposed treatment plan, it should be fine-tuned based on the outcome of the case presentation with the patient. So, this should be followed by a detailed outline of treatment sequence, listing the various specialists involved and making them responsible for their respective areas. And since the interdisciplinary treatment involves services from multiple specialists, it is important for the patient to understand the financial matter. Kasi it's everyone or very one of the major concern, lalo na sa mga Pilipino, ang cost ng mga treatment. Diba? Kasi alam mo naman sa atin dito sa Pilipinas, this is the list of the priorities of the patient, yung kanilang dental treatment or dental status. Okay. So during case presentation, there is a thorough review of all information gathered during patient interview and clinical examination. Okay? So, should we discuss, again, babalik talaga tayo sa simula or sa umpisa, starting from the patient interview from clinical examination with just the mouth examination until the diagnostic process, and paano kayo nakakome up with your final treatment. And of course, you need to develop and prioritize the problem list. Okay? And then identification of the etiology. So discussion of the patient's health status, both systemic and oral, and provide an opportunity to educate patient about the severity and prognosis associated with each problem. So while discussing the problem list, you have to discuss the whole problem. Okay? Isa-isa rin. Kaya nga identification of etiology. Kung paano niya nakuha yun at gaano ka-severe yung case niya, or yung priority ng treatment, and what will be the prognosis or the outcome of your disease. Kung magiging okay ba or hindi. And then, there's a development of treatment goals and options for each problem. The availability of additional diagnostic tests and procedure. So kung kulang yung nakukuha mong basis sa diagnostic process, baka kailangan mong ipa-CBCT. Okay? O kaya kung meron siyang problem sa TMD, pwede mong mag-request ka ng mga MRI. Okay? Para ma-check mo. Okay? Next is the potential benefits of the treatment recommended. So, for each problem, there's a recommended treatment wherein you will discuss also the side effects, the possible negative outcome of the proposed treatment. Kasi minsan meron mga risk, so you also have to discuss yung mga complication and compromise to outcome of each option of treatment. So dapat din i-discuss natin yung kumbaga yung advantages and the disadvantages of the different treatments. So it should be outlined and should be carefully explained to the patient, lalo na sa mga negative, you have to tell it honestly to the patient. Okay? Dapat honest tayo to discuss to the patient. And of course, the possible negative outcome of the proposed probability of success and the consequences of not treating a problem. Kasi minsan, di ba, undecided si patient na ipagawa or nagdadalawang isip si pasyente na ipagawa. Okay? So, kung gusto niyang gawin, ipe-prepare mo lahat ng mga problem list para ma-discuss kay pasyente, okay? Para mas maintindihan ni pasyente yung lahat ng consequences or lahat ng mga possibilities na pwedeng mangyari during the actual procedure itself. Next is the time required to complete a treatment. So, very important na tayo magbibigay ng definitive date. Okay? Kasi minsan, nag-i-expect yung pasyente. Okay? Kaya nga madalas yung mga pasyente, ako ayoko ng pasyente yung mga Russian. Okay? Russian patient. Yung mahilig magpa-rush. Okay? Kaya ayoko sa klinik ko ang mga Russian patient. Lalo na yung mga, alam mo sino mga Russian patients? Yung mga balikbayan. Yung kung kailan aalis sila, 1 week before sila aalis, doon sila pupunta sa dentist at nagmamadaling magpagawa ng crown, magpagawa ng kung ano-ano. Ako talagang kahit malaki kikitain mo doon, hindi ko tinatanggap ang mga Russian patients. Kasi ito pa minsan yung nagkakaroon ng maraming problem. Diba? Kasi nga minamadali yung case. So kapag minamadali yung case, mas possibility, mas marami yung mga problems. Minsan, nailagay mo na yung densyo hanggang makarating yan sa ibang bansa, nakarating sa Amerika, message sa'yo. Stress ka pa. Diba? So, kaya ako, pag may mga Russian patient, sabi ko sa kanila, hindi ko ina-accept. Refer na lang magano'n kayo sa dentist. Okay? And then, cost of the services recommended as well as the cost of alternative option. So, we need to discuss the patient yung treatment options, of course, yung cost. Diba? So, halimbawa, jacket crown. Okay? So, ang jacket crown, nagbabari yung price niya based on materials. Diba? So, kung porcelain jacket crowns lang, around 8 to 10,000 each. Siyempre, pag ginawan mo yan ng Ceramage or yung iba-ibang mga crowns, diba? Or yung, ano nga ba yung mga mahaling mga crowns. So, siyempre, nag-range na yun, mga 25 to 30,000. So, bibigay mo yung option sa pasyente kung ano na mas gusto niya. So, nagbabari yan based on materials. And of course, the consequences of elective procedures should be made clear. Okay? So basically, we need to explain sa pasyente, okay, an option that require extensive lifestyle maintenance as opposed to more conservative alternative visualization of the final outcome of the treatment. Kasi minsan yung elective procedure, okay, so elective nga siya, so pwede naman siyang gawin kahit hindi ngayon. Okay? Pwedeng gawin siya after ng mga ibang emergency procedures. Next, you need to ensure that patients have an equivocal understanding of their responsibility to follow the recommendation they have agreed to. It is very important na mag-agree yung patient sa treatment plan, yung sequence ng treatment, okay, that we can fulfill our promise on their end that they will take care of their oral hygiene. Kasi baka gumastos na sila ng libo-libo, di ba? Akala nila, forever na yung nilagay sa kanilang yan, na hindi pwedeng i-reject ng kanyang oral cavity. Okay? So you have exerted a lot of effort on their dental treatment, but after which, wala nang follow-up on their end, so pinabayaan nila yung oral hygiene niya. So yung good prognosis na na-discuss natin sa kanya, pwedeng maging bad prognosis. Next is to educate patient about the dynamic nature of treatment plan. Since you have working on interdisciplinary dentistry, so iba-iba yung specialist, so iba-iba yung umahawak ng case, so pwedeng anytime during the treatment sequence, pwedeng magbago kasi pwedeng magkaroon ng pagbabago sa treatment planning. Hindi pa naman uulan. And last is the provision of informed consent. It is very important that the patient would sign an informed consent. Okay? Important component na present in the presentation of any treatment plan. Kasi ito yung magiging binding legally na in-approve ng pasyente yung in-explain yung lahat sa kanya at ina-accept niya yung terms and condition of your treatment plan. Next is the implementation. So the person responsible for the definitive care, coordinating the timing and sequencing of the plan. So all aspects of care should take into consideration the patient's need, the expectation, the physical, psychological, and financial constraint. So sa implementation, there is a team leader wherein he or she will overlook all the execution of the treatment procedure and all the aspects should be taken care of. As if may kailangan ba siyang other na para ma-fulfill niya yung expectation. Yeah. And of course, evaluation. So basically, this is the recall part. Okay? Always ongoing and includes an immediate and long-term critical appraisal of the completed treatment, consideration of changes or addition that may improve the outcome, and of course, the future needs for follow-up. Okay? So very important ang follow-up or evaluation of the treatment. And of course, the treatment execution is the stage of care that involves the application of the treatment plan in attempted remediation of a patient's medical condition. So you cannot start any dental treatment if hindi pa okay ang medical condition ng pasyente. So number one concern, dapat approve or meron siyang clearance kapag medically compromised yung ating pasyente. So treatment execution can proceed as planned or not as planned. Minsan during the course of treatment, something may happen that may nakita ka na mas kailangan ng agarang treatment or yung acute treatment. So kailangan muna natin yung unahin or gawin. Okay? Barriers to successful treatment execution can be located at multiple levels of healthcare system, including but not restricted to failures of action by both patients and clinician. It is always deal with the periotherapy, kasi periotherapy will not be a success without the cooperation of the patient, kasi dito lahat ng bisyo ng pasyente like smoking and drinking, any staining food or beverages, kailangan matanggal din ng patient. Or else magpa-fail din siya or magpa-fail yung ginagawa natin perio-treatment ng pasyente. And after a treatment plan has been in effect for a suitable period, treatment evaluations undertaken to determine whether the goals of the consultation have been attained, whether the plan implemented has been effective, and whether the treatment has been acceptable to the consultee and to the client. Very important after treatment execution is the evaluation because this will evaluate if na-attain ba ng dentist yung treatment goal niya and okay ba yung ginawa niyang treatment sequence and natupad ba ang nilagay niya lahat dun sa kanyang treatment list. Okay? So dapat masatisfy din natin yung pasyente natin. Okay? So after your recall, okay? So dapat si pasyente happy siya. Okay? Next is the maintenance. So the need for regular reviews and maintenance should be emphasized as being in the best health interest of the patient. So the practitioners also the opportunity to evaluate his or her own treatment and treatment decision over the extended time, so a sanitary experience. So the principal objective of maintenance phase of dental treatment is to review and maintain the long-term health of the masticatory system of the patient. So we want a satisfactory dental experience or dental health in the patient na ma-maintain niya yung treatment core or even yung mga follow-ups natin. And of course, broadly patients are usually called for the ongoing prevention or reduction in the progression of chronic dental diseases and conditions, the evaluation of asymptomatic oral condition, and of course, the decision regarding further elective dental treatment such as tooth bleaching, ortho treatment, and provision for an oral split kapag meron siyang PMJ problem, and of course, you need to do your impacted or removal of the impacted third molars. Okay, recall intervals for routine checkup. So the dental practitioner learned from experience to make a balanced clinical judgment on the most appropriate recall interval for each patient rather than routinely recommending blanket 6 months or 12 months period. Kasi nga, sabi the recommended between check-up or recall is 6 months or 12 months time, but it can range actually from 2 months up to 2 years depending on to the case of your patient. Okay, yung 6 months, it is the twice a year dental visit. So, idea lang naman. Pero based pa rin yan dun sa oral condition ng pasyente. Kaya nga yung mga ibang pasyente, kapag talaga may peria problem sila or prone sila sa plaque formation, instead of doing your regular OP every 6 months, we recommend them to do it every 3 months or quarterly. Okay? Kasi mas mabilis yung plaque formation niya. Okay? So, recall intervals for routine check-up. Okay? So, generally, the following patients should be recalled at a shorter rather than the longer time interval. Siyempre, children and adolescents, patient with medical condition that put their general health at interest risk, patient whose lifestyle place their oral health at increased risk, patient with physical or mental handicaps, patient with poorly controlled plaque removal and oral diseases, and patient with extensive fixed restorative work, removable prosthesis, ortho appliance, and dental implant. So basically, these patients, dapat nire-recall natin sila, okay, na mas madalas, okay, kasi nga, mas prone sila. Okay? Lalo-lalo na yung mga children and adolescent kasi mixed dentition yung case nila, so we need to check kung kamusta yung erupting permanent dentition nila. Okay? So for patient with medical conditions, okay, yung may mga cardiovascular diseases and bleeding disorder, kailangan na-check din natin lagi. Patient who are smokers or lifestyle nila, okay, yung mga alcohols, okay, acidic food, kailangan na-recall din lagi yan. Okay? Yung ating mga may physical and mental handicap kasi hindi naman nila kayang mag-maintain ng oral cavity on their own. Okay? So kailangan binibigyan natin ng instructions yung kanilang mga parents. And of course, we need to do a regular check-up with them. Okay? Patients with poorly controlled plaque removal. So those who have active caries or periodontitis. And of course, yung may mga ortho. Diba? Lalo-lalo na yung mga naka-ortho. Kasi alam naman natin, merong nakaharang ng mga brackets dyan and wires na prone na pagsabitan ng mga food debris. Kaya namamaga yung natin. So, this one dapat nare-recall natin. Particularly na ortho, kaya nga every month yung adjustment period nila para nare-recall din natin sila. Okay. I think that's the last part of the lecture. So we will be having our next quiz next Monday. Kasi wala naman tayong klase this coming Monday because of the holiday and the long weekend. So kung wala kayong klase pag Sabado, okay, you have time to visit Boracay if you want. Visit Cebu or what? Kasi yan yung mga pagkakataon bakasyon, 3 araw yun, dire-diretso, di ba? Pwede umuwi ng probinsya. Kaya ipag-Boracay ako, wala pag-Boracay. Okay? So, enjoy your long weekend next